Welcome to Sawdust and Cornbread. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to mow like a girl. It's about 82 degrees outside, but right now it feels like it's 90. I don't know if you can see that or not. At least there's a nice breeze, but regardless of the temperature, I still have to mow. I've found there are several ladies who are intimidated by mowing. Some will even hire out to mow just to avoid it because they're not sure what they're doing. Now I understand there are cases where people are just busy or they have allergies and that's why they don't mow. But I'm here to help those of you who may need to mow on occasion or, like me, love to mow the grass. It's just grass, but there are some ways to do it that make it better in between mowings. Here's a disclaimer. Everybody has their own ideology on how to mow a yard. It's just grass, you mow it down, it comes back. But there are some ways to do it to make it look a little bit better, and even lawn care professionals debate which is the best way. So this is the way that I have adapted for my lawn, and it's to help you. Before you mow the yard, you're going to need to weed eat or weed whack, depending on where you live. Get rid of the weeds. And it's been raining here in Southwest Virginia, cats and dogs, for a week. I haven't been able to get out and do much weed eating, so it's a mess. It's a good time to show you the weed eating. I like this model. It's a Works weed eater. It's battery operated. It's really light. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just saying this is a good model. It's easy to handle. The reason you want to weed eat before you mow is so that all of those long pieces of grass or weeds that you take out, you'll mow over them and it'll disappear and feed your lawn. So you don't want that on top of your freshly mowed lawn. So let's get weed whacking. When you're weed eating, even though it feels natural to go from the left to the right, go against that natural feeling and move from the right to the left. That way, all of the clippings are shooting out to the left of you and not where you've already been. If you notice here, the spindle on the bottom, it goes in this direction. So it's throwing all of the clippings to your left. So walk from right to left when you're weed eating. And if you have something like this electric fence line that you have to go under, keep the top of that spindle underneath it. That way you don't get tangled up in the wire as you go. Whenever you have an area like this, where the grass meets a hard surface, you don't want to hold the weed eater flat. You want to hold it and change it to where it's on its side. That way it makes a good crisp edge and doesn't fall this grass. If you cut it too close on a surface that's hard or near a surface that's hard, what you're doing is you're exposing that dirt that's underneath and you're encouraging weeds to grow. You want this grass as close and as thick as you can get it to the hard surface, so a nice crisp edge. You'll also notice that I didn't go down very deep. I don't want to cut down into that dirt. I just want to clip those edges that are overlapping the hard surface. I should also mention you don't need to weed eat your pathways every time. Like I said, you want that to get big and as bushy and full as you can close to the sidewalks to crowd out the weeds. In an area like this where the grass is growing up above the side of a patio, you still don't want to bald it to the ground even though you have to go from side to side. Try to keep it about the same length as you're going to mow the rest of your yard. Then when you have an area like this where the grass has overgrown the front of the patio, you're going to want to weed eat it level with your patio. If you have something stacked up around your yard like this old wood pile, you want to be sure to keep it clean around the edges by weed eating to discourage snakes and other critters. Now that everything's weed eated around the perimeter, around the patios and the walkway, it's time to mow the grass. I wanted to say just a word about the height adjustment here on the mower. Most mowers have these levers on the side that you can raise or lower the grass. There's really not a standard setting. It depends on the type of grass that you have. A good height is about 3 inches. That may be taller than you used to, but especially in the summertime, if you think about it, each little blade of grass is its own plant. We think of a yard as one big plant, but each of these are a plant. And the taller they are beside each other, they can shade each other more when it's really hot, like it has been here in Virginia for the last month, like 90s and 100s. So that way it can kind of help protect it. In the fall you can go a little bit shorter, but it really depends on the type of grass you have. This is a tall turf type grass, so it likes to be taller, especially when it's hot. If you have a Bermuda grass or something like that, you can always go shorter. If you don't know the grass type, I would stick with about 3 inches. And you can actually measure underneath from the blade to the ground to see how tall that is. And also, a lot of mowers come equipped to self-mulch. In other words, when it mows, it just spins all of the cuttings down into the grass, and that's good. It will feed your lawn. But when the grass is a little bit overgrown like this, because we haven't been able to mow for the rain, it's always good to put on that little chute attachment and let it shoot out the side. That way it doesn't accumulate underneath. And the next time you mow, you'll be mulching that into your grass anyway, so it's still feeding your ground, it's still feeding the soil. If your lawn is way out of control and is 6 or more inches tall, you may have to do a cross mow where you mow in one direction with this flap on to shoot all of your clippings out, and then that will lay on the top of the grass. You don't want to leave that weight on top of the grass because it will kill the grass underneath. It weighs it down. And it's a breeding ground for fungus and stuff like that. So what you may want to do is mow back over those clippings in another direction if your yard is really tall and overgrown. Okay, time to mow. A common misconception that I see happen in yards all over the place is that you're supposed to start on the outside of the yard and work your way in, going in circles and circles and circles and circles. Not a good idea, because that's going to throw the grass clippings out and you will have a mess. It's just not a good way to do it. Don't do that. Mow like a girl. Do rows. You want to do the outer perimeter of your yard first, and then just sequentially you're going to go down one side, turn around, come back over, and you're going to overlap a little bit. What that does is evenly distribute those grass clippings to feed your lawn and make it healthy and lush, and it gives it a neater look. Another neat hint is mowing your yard in different directions. Don't always go down the rows in the same direction. Switch it up. If I go in rows this way, this time I mow, next time I'm going to go this way. Keep some variety in there, and what that does is it makes the grass shaft stand up. If you're always mowing it the same way, your grass is going to kind of lean over and it looks it just isn't good and perky. It isn't a good look. But if you go opposite directions between each time you mow the yard, you're going to force those blades of grass to stand at attention and look nice. Don't be afraid to mow at angles. It is a really neat look, especially if the sun hits your yard a specific way against the grain of these diagonals. It makes it look really neat. When you see stripes in grass, striping, where it looks like one row is dark, one row is light, they haven't put color on there. They haven't mowed one side shorter than the other or anything like that. It's just the direction. Some people start at the side and do an angle beginning at the side and work their way across the yard. But when you do those angles, it gives a really unique and interesting look to your yard, and again, you're moving those grass blades in a different direction and keeping them at attention. Nice and hot. I'm just gonna sit in front of this air conditioning for a while. Mowing the grass isn't the funnest job, at least for some people. I personally love mowing the yard, maybe not when it's 90 degrees, but I enjoy it. But I understand it's not the funnest thing to do, and for some people, it's something to be avoided completely if you have allergies. I'm not judging anyone for hiring lawn keeping. Totally understandable. People have schedules, people have preferences that they need to spend their time on, and that's fine. And also, I do understand that there are some ladies out there who may be single, they may be widowed, and they have never been taught the correct way to mow, and I hope that you find this helpful. If you like today's video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I post a new video every week to help you do all kinds of things for yourself. Be blessed. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.